thrill is gone. Thrill is gone away. Hey guys, how's it going, eh? Todd, the cheap drums guy. So, last week, I opened my big mouth and said I was going to be working on restaining these drums. I regretted it after I posted the video because, now I've actually got to do the work. So here I am, making a mess up in the kitchen, actually doing the work. And you're probably asking me, Todd, what the hell are you doing in the kitchen making a mess? And the answer is quite simple, really. My wife's not here. So there you go. She went downstate, visit some friends, and with her, she took that Licks Jam EDM 800 electronic drum set, which I am very fortunate, or I'm very happy that I did get it, because it gave me a confidence enough to transition to acoustic drums. And now that I'm there, I really don't want to go anywhere else. I don't want to go back to electronic drums. But it's going down there for a very wonderful young lady to help her with her percussion, possibly. If anything else, just to have some fun with it. So it's getting its use, and I feel good about it. But anyways, staining drums. So here's the 12-inch tom for that Sound Percussion Labs kit, and I took it downstairs in the breezeway to sand it because I'm not that stupid to do it up here. Well, actually, I thought about it, but common sense prevailed. So I took it down to the breezeway, and instead of using tape I had to sand off the 2 coats of poly that were on there, but instead of using tape to tape it off, to do the sanding and then do the staining, I thought, why not use contact paper? So I went to Walmart. Walmart. You walk into that place. It's like on the first Star Wars movie, Episode 4, the Los Eisley Space Station, going into the cantina. That's what I reckon Walmart to be. Going into that cantina scene with all the crazy aliens and stuff like that. That's Walmart has become the cantina from Star Wars. But luckily, no mishaps or anything crazy happened, which was kind of strange. Although I did contemplate wearing pajamas and slippers in there, like most everybody else seems to wear. But I was just in my work outfit, so anyways. So I did I used the contact paper because it'll cover the rest of the shell and I won't have to worry about getting stain on it. So I'm going to put the first stain on it right here, right now. And I got the shell, I'm pretty sure I got all that polyurethane off this shell part, the part I'm going to do. And so I'm ready to put stain on it. Now, I'm probably going to catch some flack, but I did not cover the bearing edge, with tape. I'm not that concerned with the bearing edge. This is a stain. It's just changing the color of the wood. It's not going to affect the bearing edge in any way, shape, or form. So I'm not that worried about it. Plus, I put it on so lightly, if I eventually did get a little worried about it, I could go over real easy with some fine grade sandpaper and clean it up. But is it really going to hurt anything? No, it's not. But I had a change of plans with the stain because I went down to one of our local hardware stores, and I was initially wanting a navy blue type stain, transparent navy blue stain, and so they didn't have any on the shelves. So I talked to the lady there, and she goes, well, no, that's a color that we make here ourselves. You just take a clear stain and they add the pigment to it. And she goes, hold on a second, let me look it up. And she goes, we do not have that in stock. We do not have the color here, and it's been discontinued. Shit. Okay, no problem. So in order to speed up the process, I just went to see what they had on the shelves there. Now they had a number of beautiful wood stains, and one that I really considered was a hickory stain to do the two-tone on, but I was going to go with blue. you know, I got to stick to my guns. I said I'm going to do it. Let's do it. So what I did get was this product. It's from Varathane. It's a premium fast dry wood stain. The color is Vintage Aqua, which it's a very pale blue. I'm not going to tip up the can for you to see it, so I don't spill it all over the damn place. But it's a pale blue, and I thought a real dark color on here would be a little much too contrasting, and so I thought I'd lighten it up a little bit. So you and I are going to add this stain right now and get a first glimpse of what this crap looks like. Well, you can see some of the color right there. I wiped off the stirring stick. But all this is an old Army t-shirt that I cut up, took one for the team. I'm not putting a lot of stain on this. I don't like thick stain. You have to put it on enough to the point where it's gonna, you know, go into the wood and all that, but I don't want it oozing and dripping and then seeping up underneath the contact paper here that I got covering it. And for feel, you know, I don't want it bleeding up in there. But also in that video last week, I talked about taping it off, and as like a, you know, as a divider between the two colors of stain, I was going to spray on some white lacquer. I opted not to do that. So instead, this is going to sound kind of weird, but after I get the stain done and I put a couple coats of Rust-Oleum clear gloss over top of it, I'm going to try something. This is white vinyl electrical tape. It's glossy. It will stick to the poly. It's plastic. It will stick really well. It won't move around. And I'm going to try this as my trim. Don't know exactly how well it's going to work, but we're going to find out. I don't want to put a lot into this project because drums are very expensive as it is. And so I'm going to try this out, and it should stick very well to it. And a nice good little roll like that will have only one seam, and that's on the back side where you won't see it. And I might actually put this on after the stain dries and then do the poly over everything so it's got the same gloss. But we'll see. But anyways, without further ado, let's try this first coat of stain. All right, and of course there's separation of the color. Now I really don't, initially I thought these were poplar, but the more I look at this shell, I'm thinking it might be more like birch. But anyways, let's give her a try here and see what she looks like. I got to put it on kind of thick just to get it going, but I'm working it into the shell so it thins it out so you can see the wood grain underneath it. The color is pretty. We'll see how it's going to really blend though. Now if you work fast, you won't have to worry about getting globs of it on there. And you know, super dark spots in one area, like, you know, it's not like paint. It takes a while for it to dry, and even if it dries a little bit, if you're still working somewhat damp stain into it, it'll thin out everything really good, blend it better. But you also have to remember to wipe off the excess. You don't let the excess sit on there. I just want a thin coat. while holding this. Huh. Boy, that changing color of the wood really kind of... There we go. Wow, this stuff is not like the Minwax stain I was using before. This stuff you gotta be quick, 'cause it dries fast. But I'm still able to blend it down pretty good. Wow, might have to do a second coat. That's not working as I anticipated. It's not like regular wood stain. So take heed. Do this fast. I'm trying to get my pants all messed up as well as this process here. You can tell by no means am I a professional. Shit. I used a lot more stain than I wanted to. This is not working out as planned. Thrill is gone. Thrill is gone away. Not really happy with the way this stuff goes on. Blotchy spot right there. A oil base. Try something crazy here. Pardon my getting away there. Oh, okay, there it goes. Now I added a little water to this t-shirt to try to get out some of the heavier deposits, and it seems to be working. I'm blending it a lot better. It's almost like a damn paint. It's not going to be perfect, of course. And these one spots where the lugs go on, and it's going to be, that's just going to be a weird spot. But again, it's going to be covered up by the lugs, so I'm not that worried about it. I'm just worried about getting all these, the thicker spots blended in a little bit better. I don't want to have big blotches. Nobody wants a blotchy. You're welcome for me not talking. Okay, now I got probably the wrong kind of stain for something like this. This is a stain that's more suited for doing heavy coats on something. However, this doesn't look too bad. There's color changes in the shell too, so, but I guess the only way to really see how it's going to look is the seam. I don't know about this. And of course, the only spot on the contact paper that really seems to actually get some adhesion to it is fighting. But I guess the only way to tell on this is that when this completely dries and I put a coat of poly, the poly is going to brighten it up quite a bit, and of course going to give it a nice little high gloss. But there we go. Schmuck. But as far as color goes, I tell you one thing, I knew I shouldn't have used anything else but Minwax. That just seems to be the best stain out there. And I only went with the Varathane because of the color that it had in that or vintage aqua. Dang it. See what I gotta go through, people? But anyways, I'm going to work on that and get that piece of contact paper off there. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure what I think about it just yet. So we'll have to give her a try, see what she looks like when it dries, and I get the rest of the contact paper off, and then give it a coat of gloss clear and see what it looks like. But for right now, I'm gonna hack at that and see what I can do, and I'll come back in a minute or so with a little addition to this video. And we're back. Well, some mistakes were made on my behalf. I'll blame them on somebody else, but I got the wrong kind of stain to start off with. This is an oil-based stain, or a urethane. Maybe that's why it's called Varathane. I don't know. But I should have paid a little more attention to what I was actually buying. I really didn't read the directions or I didn't have my reading glasses with me anyways. but I was able to even out the stain finish a little bit. And then I tried the vinyl electrical tape around the center where it's going to be a divider between the two colors. And I was going to do a yellow stain with it. However, I felt just the clear wood above it would probably match it better. And after I put just a single coat of gloss spray on it, just to seal everything in, and I put that over top of the tape also, just because it would settle into the edge of the tape and just keep the tape from maybe drying out and, like, you know, wrinkling up on the edges or whatever like that. But the tapes on are kind of tighter. And the funny thing about the tape, I had to do 2 passes with the tape around to make it a pure white. But I'm learning. You know, I'm not a professional. I don't do this for a living. This is about as inexpensive as you can get. But anybody can do this at home with just a few simple little things. If you have a bunch of old stain in your garage, you can just break it out and do your drum set rather easily. You know, if the stain or if your wrap on your drums is in bad shape, or you're just really tired of it, you know, before you actually get committed, just think about it first, though, because it is a kind of a big step. Once you take your wrap off, it's done. You know, what's done is done. So you got bare wood underneath, so you either got to stain it or paint it, or rewrap it down the road. But after I signed off, when I first did the stain on it, I put one coat of clear on there, called it good. I put the hardware back on it, and I put the badge. So I'm going to let you see what the first drum looks like done. And despite the way I initially thought it was turning out, I thought it was going to look bad. However, now that it's right here, done right in front of me, I'm actually quite pleased with it. And not that I was trying, but the color pattern and just what it looks like, it's actually going to match our downstairs quite well. But that wasn't part of the consideration for doing it like this. But just the initial experience with this right now, when I start on the rest of the drums of this set right after this video, I know what to do, I know what to look for, I know how to make sure I get it right. So that being said, you know, in a way, if you look at it, if you've been to a lot of the shoreside homes here in Michigan, along Lake Michigan, or along any of the inland lakes or streams and stuff like that, the cottages have these lighter pastel colors. It's more, you know, long story short, it's more of like, the way I look at it, it's kind of like a driftwood and the water. So it's kind of got a cottage feel to it. Then you got my big tacky drum badge. This is Thomas on here, but anyways, this is how she turned out. And of course, how the wood changed color, you know, I really couldn't do anything about that. It is what it is. But all in all, despite getting the wrong stain, I found a way to work it in, and it's got a weathered appearance to it, and it's kind of neat. And I'm not disappointed now. So I'm going to sign off here, and then I've got some sanding, some staining, some taping, some spraying to do, times 3. And of course, this is the smallest drum. Now I've got a 14-inch tom, a 16-inch tom, and a 20-inch bass drum to do. But anyways, I'm Todd, the Cheap Drums Guy, and this is Todd, the Cheap Drums Guy's 12-inch tom for a Sound Percussion Lab kit in the new vintage shoreside appearance. But you guys have a great day, and I will see you later. And yes, I'll clean the kitchen.